in being declassified from the human race and then brought down to a lower race that symbolized color. When we talk black, white, mulatto, he did not want us to be classified in these racial categories, but to be elevated back to the human race, where there was only one race, and that was called human. As he said in his famous speech, the Negro finds himself a slave in his own land. That means that, we have been consistently and constantly fighting, whether it be from Frederick Douglass, his writings, whether it be from W.E.B. Du Bois, his writings, John Henry Clark on the African writings, again, Drew Ali speaking about the Moorish history here in the United States of America. These things that were talked about were just reminders of who we were in the past and what our fight has been in this country. We did not want to be called Negro. We did not want to be called a color.
Look, if you want to read it, read Stanley Lane Poe's The Moors in Spain, written in 1887, or Alejandro Macaziza. Read his book in Spanish, The Moors in Spain, and said that even the black was introduced by those Africans.
You no goddamn motion picture.
They got me looking for the artifacts, so my heart collapse. I be running through the scene like I'm on a lap. The way we left them on the scene put us on the map. So I be all up on the scene, looking hard for all the stolen Moorish artifacts, son, like I'm Artemis. See, I be running through the scene like I'm on a mission. The way they left about the scene made it hard to miss them. See, I be all up on the scene, looking for my shit like red flashes, green sashes, we assassins. Triple gold, my fist high like I'm Selassie. Physical, your men die, we everlasting. In the cold like Northgate, winter, Alaska. Killing the pastor, breaking it down my mind like a disaster. Ass whooping the bastard. If you don't represent the serpentine bloodline, more by bloodline, welcome to the front line. Baby, I want mine. I'm so impatient, I'm cutting up in the lunch line. I call it crunch time. They trying to punch some, but I ain't over time. I'm Noble Charlie, I'm working overtime. Hidden GD 1787 times 711, higher than 7 heavens. Steady, no guessing. Better stomach the lesson. Who be trapped in the house? I'm home alone like Kevin 2-7. I hit and make my case with law and rest it. I shouldn't taught the flies, no haze necklace. I keep a peppermint on the top of the dresser. Working 7 days a year, looking for the stolen Moorish artifacts, son, like I'm Artemis. See, I be running through the scene like I'm on a mission. The way they left about the scene made it hard to miss them. See, I be all up on the scene looking for my shit like
Doctrine of discovery for Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Always challenge jurisdiction of your captors. Stand on your square, no apron or protractors. Who manifest Hep Chef, something like Cleopatra. Man is man tantra, know that self mantra. Get out the lower self and vibrate your chakras. Walking on the higher road, my staff on my levels of Allah. If my God protected more with the sevens up. For quadrant halos, celestial pharaohs. Expose those Socrates and Plato's. Chop down my cherry tree and still couldn't bury me. In the secret lodges, they pretend to be me. Indiana Jones, national treasures, angels and demons, and one world agendas. Razor blade smiles, alien, reptilian, running corporate governments with more civilians. Invisible wars, police state has risen, uplifting, falling from their mental prisons. 5-point star drawn, vortex and wormholes, leads to behind the backs of turncoats.
stolen Moorish artifacts, son, like I'm Artemis. See, I be running through the scene like I'm on a mission. The way they left about the scene made it hard to miss them. See, I be all up on the scene looking for my shit like.
But remember, when it came a time in 1606, Africans ruled Spain from 711. We were calling ourselves Moors, Mauersmmoors, from 711 until 1485.
Tell everyone about Drew Ali, 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 tell everyone. Let the world know Drew Ali came. Brought a flag, religion, and free national name. Brought an ID card, don't flash at the hybrid. Learn about the righteous and when we were the pirates. Ancestral creed, clandestine heed, warnings of the prophet, you can't intercede. Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren, need a new home. to Atlantis direction, north, south, and central, fly continental, founder and uniting of the Moorish holy temple of science. Nationality is alliance, always in defiance of their worship compliance. Active, not passive, estate is massive. Use the compass, draw circles around your passions. Carpenter's tool in the mind workshop. Corsica bandana, covered eyes in bird box. Return to ancestors' mind, descendants of ancients. Forget the mundane, knowledge attainments, guided by the principles, our own laws and customs. If they teach but don't bring up True Ali, don't trust them. Tell everyone about True Ali, 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 tell everyone. Tell everyone about True Ali, 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 tell everyone.
I told a Filipino woman about Julie. We got more into the pedigree. She said she more. I said that meant more to me. Couldn't have this conversation a few years back when I was a few years black. 2,000 years I cried in tears, but I'm back. Still here, thought manifested from a higher tier. I appear, spirit and flesh with divine warnings. Choose life or death. I heard my mother utter to the Negro, black or color, African American, and that's another. Moors be yourself, no other. You're the last person in place, now move others. Hatred, slander, lewdness, murders. The pleasure of the lower, rich in promise, so you can prevent effects from causes. So a seed planted, so a seed groweth. Deep in the soil, we love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Born on a Friday, I put that on Venus. Creative faith, Allah, use the genius. You sent your last prophet to uplift me, so I gotta tell everybody. Tell everyone about you, Ali. 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 Tell everyone. Tell everyone about you, Ali. 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 Tell everyone.
Serious? Nah, you're not serious. No, for real. For real? Serious. Iron sheep. Sentenced to die or learn in this body tomb. Fallen angel manifested in flesh through the womb. Must make my way back, can't just lay back. Caught up in this world, chasing some stray cat. Know thyself is my purpose and discipline. Showing the youth they're not at risk, no need for riddling. Those lost in the church, no need for middlemen. For those smoking reefer, no need for giggling. Serious? Nah, you're not serious. No, for real. For real? Serious. Iron sheep. Sentenced to die or learn in this body tomb. Fallen angel manifested in flesh through the womb. Must make my way back, can't just lay back. Caught up in this world, chasing some stray cat. Know thyself is my purpose and discipline. Showing the youth they're not at risk, no need for riddling. Those lost in the church, no need for middlemen. For those smoking reefer, no need for giggling. Playtime is over, Syrian beings looking with eyes when eyes does all of the seeing. I heard first things first, man. You're fucking with the worst. They take your soul, needle in your head by the Nazi nurse. Extracted for Bill Gates, pills of melatonin. No beef pioneers for the elite, I know them. High maintenance children of humanity. Cares not for the world or balance in duality. Man-made laws, they push on the public. Master teacher said my brass skin is rusted. That was Marcus Garvey as the wind gusted. Popo plant drugs and guns together busted. Seeing inside the warehouse of the walls. Controlled by the warden and KKK guards. Overseeing the shadow sock and box lock. Inside won't see the cops that got Sean Bell shot. Incarceration is not serving as rehab. Come off a 10-year bid, your people like he's mad. No more heroin, it's crack now. No 6-shooter chromes, gats are black now. It's MP3, they get the CD with technology. They got cameras in your TV. 12-year-olds got adult breasts and ass. Cause the steroids is transferred to them from the calves. Oranges got no seeds, they cure no disease. They prescribe pills, say come back in weeks. Klansmen stepped up from suits, left the sheets to kill Moors or make them do dead time for weeks. Stakes are high, live or die. Get shot on the TTC or crash your ride. Let go of this vesture, leave the husk. When I astral project, it's leaves and dust. Stakes are high, live or die. Get shot on the DTC or crash your ride. Let go of this vesture, leave the husk. When I astral project, it's leaves and dust.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Place, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, weapon like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, deja vu, Roman J. Israel. And over door, I'm in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, given slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Place, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, deja vu, Roman J. Israel. And over door, I'm in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, given slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veiled shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations, or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. I want to give honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Give honors to all mothers, but we give honors to the mothers at RV Bay Publications, MHHS Eyes Wide Open. Honors to them. Honors to all mothers. Honors to those mothers for making sure you have Noble Drew Ali stuff when these temples are holding back everything from you. You want skyscrapers or whatever like that. You don't want Noble Drew Ali's lessons. You want Moorish this and that. But you don't want Drew Ali's lessons though. You want some ancient American history stuff from 500 years ago, but you don't want the stuff from 100 years ago? That's on you, because it's been ever since Tashreeq Bey said for the first time, "Don't follow me." All right, guess you better follow myself. If he's the man and he's saying don't follow him, then why am I gonna follow him if he said don't? Don't follow him. Well, many people follow him, right? Every time they go live on this stuff, 10,000 people asking the same questions from last week. And then he's going over the same lessons that's in the lesson books that we've been had 10, 15 years ago. And had the DVD classes where he's talking about all this same stuff 15 years ago. The exact same stuff. And what's his continual message? Oh, we're gonna keep being redundant because the people don't want to get what's going on. So we're not going further with you. If you want to go further, there's the library. Go as far as you will. That should give you some time to get off this BS. Oh yeah, by the way, so everybody, whoever wants to connect, you could scratch Instagram because we're done with that. We're done with that. That's Facebook updated. We're done with that. We already been there, done that. And that's some BS going on over there. So whoever's over there, we won't be there. Hit me on the phone. Hit me on the email. Or be in this chat. Everything's going to be here now. All the posts and all that stuff is going to be here. It's the only one left. After this one, you're on your own. Because the way people are talking about, the prophet and stuff, and, making this online presentation. Making this online presentation having to be about scalping, lynching, burning at the stake, mayor of steel, dirty Moors, then it's going to be that. And it's going to be Noble Drew Ali, whatever any more send that they want us to put out there, like, hey, you might talk about this or whatever.
Here's an article or something. And that'll be it. Because people they don't want this. They want to play games. They want to play games. They want to just keep playing the people. They just want to keep up the religious controversy. Right? We're dealing with people with issues right now. We're dealing with people with issues right now that they're about to not have their livelihood. And the only thing that's saving them, the only thing that has them in the room or in the email that they haven't lost their job yet is because they're standing on indigenous rights. And the people just don't know what to do because they thought he was a black guy. Well, he's not black. And based on my studying and me going on your website, Mr. Whoever, I see that on your website, in your code of ethics and all that stuff, you're talking about honors to the indigenous people, and we have to give honors to the indigenous land that we're on, and you know, we are Truth and Reconciliation Commission because the indigenous people have suffered so much under colonization, and we have to help them because they deserve it, and all the women missing, and all the bodies found, and all that stuff. So, you know, I'm just saying, if that's in your thing, how are you telling me that I have to do something when I have rights that are under your code of ethics right there on your website right now? And then we have Moors who were ahead of the game and put these people on notice before there was some COVID BS, letting them know about their status. I'm not Negro, black, colored, and all that stuff. I just want to put this exemption in just to let you know that I'm not partaking in anything that you people are going to do later. That I don't know if you're going to do something, but I'm just going to put you on notice, just, you know, to be safe. Oh yeah, no problem. Indigenous rights, we recognize that. No, there's no issue and all that. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for giving us this and all that. Cool right now. Everybody else on the thing, on the job. Why is he? Where's your mask? I mean, I'm wearing it. No, sorry, exemption. Well, you're supposed. Oh, I already talked. I was just in the office with the president. Pardon? Where what? What did you say? Oh God. Oh, the president. Oh, because it's the president. Now you recognize. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. You realize I haven't caught anything, right? You realize I'm working here with you. You got a mask on. I don't. And I haven't caught anything. Yeah, isn't it? Why is there controversy? My claim is that I'm indigenous. Well, you know, the medical right says that or whatever, and the religious right says whatever. Because the religious right, you know, we can't infringe on that and all that stuff, you know, whatever. Why are you talking about religion? Why are you moving from indigenous rights to medical rights and religious rights and all these other rights that don't come before indigenous rights? Because no matter who you say you are, I don't know who you are, but I guarantee you're not indigenous here. I guarantee you're a foreigner. And if you're a foreigner here, then you have to go with what we say as indigenous people. And Noble Drew Ali was the indigenous that told you about being in propria persona. So you can have rights. You're not going to be under Indian acts and not going to be under black codes and all this other BS that they created to control you. So we're talking about real time right now. What are Moors doing? What are you doing? What are you doing for the Moors? You're not doing anything for the Moors. You're just keyboard warrior. We have people right now, we're sealing their stuff for them to get their exemption. And they're getting it. And there wasn't some great seal and whatever like that. It's 3 Moors who are witnesses, the individual whose document it is, and red ink thumbprint, and that's the seal. And send the documents. And they don't have any issues. What are you doing for the Moorish movement? What are we doing? You can't ask us. We got, you know how many years we got in this? We didn't hit teens yet. We hit teens yet. You just got a little hair under the arm and all that stuff. We're still a baby. You didn't have the little whiskers, little fake mustache coming in yet. But you're playing big dog, playing big boy on campus. And then when another big boy on campus steps up or whatever like that, then you're wondering what you're going to do next. Why are you wondering what you're supposed to do next? You should already know 5, 6 moves ahead what you're going to do. Oh, but you learn from these idiots online and stuff like that. You never sat at the feet of the elders. You never sat in a class with a book and then you leave and the book's full and you have papers that you just got from whatever, something on the wall, the back of that, write notes on that. You don't know about that stuff. So we know that we're cut from a different cloth. We know this. That's why you always see us just go right back to the program of Noble Drew Ali. We only talk about out there, billion light years away, the civilizations there. No, let's deal with some stuff right here, right now. Let's deal with some stuff right now. In this age, there is still much religious controversy as to the right thing. Big and powerful ministers have come to the conclusion that something is wrong. Some say it is the 10 Commandments. Others say there is a lack of sincerity in the purpose of the churches. Still others think it is all worthless and not fit for the time it takes to attend them. However, whatever their final decision might be, it is certain they will make a change, or rather try to make one. The fact of the matter is that they have always had only a reflection of the truth and not the real thing. Like one who holds up to the sun a mirror and casts a few of its diverted rays in a different direction, so have they done with the truth that is supposed to have come from the east. There are but few people who know what the truth is about man, and that few know that it is foolish to try to impart it to the ignorant. Although the ignorant has finished college, he is a fool right on, being trained to jump through a hoop. The longer he stays in schools, the better he can jump, and the more vivid will he defend his jumping. From the east comes all light. But though the sun is hanging at high noon, The blind cannot see. The blind cannot see. The same as the Islamic creed from the East was brought to the Asiatics of America by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and offered to those who were sick at heart, tried for many years, yet they are blind and cannot see the light. Nor is the Prophet trying to put new wine in old skins, for he knows that it will burst them. Still, he has the only remedy for the nations. The remedy brought by Jesus, Muhammad, Confucius, and all other prophets, which remedy is truth. The nations do not want the truth. It is too stern. But until they accept it and find out where it is, there will continue to be religious controversy. There will continue to be religious controversy. There will continue to be religious controversy. Compliments of RV Bay Publications in association with Moorish Heritage and History School and Moorish Nation Public Records. How is anybody going to talk against that? If somebody talks against this, obviously they are a big and powerful minister and all that stuff, who knows something's wrong. And opposed to them tell the people about Noble Drew Ali and let them know here's his literature and all that stuff, they're going to play like, well, I wonder what it is. Is it that? Well, give us some finance and then we'll figure out if we can figure this thing out or whatever. Then 5-year program, and then they get their finance, 5-year program, nothing happens. And, oh yeah, well, it switched because, it used to be this problem. Now it's turned into this problem because of the fluctuation of the whatever. There's another 10 million and then we'll fix the problem. And then that goes for 6 years and then stuff's never got solved ever. Because they're playing our people, and our people just taking it, just because they don't know who their prophet is, which is just, it's so mind-boggling. It's so mind-boggling that they'll accept the prophet from how much ever hundreds years ago, thousands of years ago, but the prophet in their time, you're not hearing what he's saying. Remember, this is from back then. In this age, there is still much religious controversy as to the right thing. Obviously, you've been following the wrong thing before the prophet. Obviously, everything you've been doing is wrong if he's telling you that there's a right thing. And you're obviously not doing it. Big and powerful ministers have come to the conclusion that something is wrong. They can't fix it because big and powerful ministers, all of them are the Masons and all that. Or they were the ones who were for the liberation of their people. That anything black or whatever like that, they back it just because they can. Some say it is the 10 Commandments. Others say that there is a lack of sincerity in the purpose of the churches. Still others think it is all worthless and not fit for the time it takes to attend them. That's why we suffer right now. Because good people see bad and do nothing. They're going to debate Moors who are doing good. Why are you debating us? Why you go debate FBI or somebody? Go debate somebody who's causing problems for our people. Why are you debating people who are helping our people? Like we're telling you, real time. Real time right now. Real time right now. And we're not saying they ain't just us. There's other Moors right now that they have stuff going on right now. Been going on. And they're living their life. They're dealing with their issues. They ain't, what you mean what are Moors doing? What are you doing? What impact are you making? To all the naysayers nitpicking at the prophet as if he didn't give them facts that they can't dispute. They can't dispute this. The fact of the matter is that they have always had only a reflection of the truth and not the real thing. Like they've always had only a reflection of the truth and not the real thing. We're talking about the big powerful minister guys up top who tell the people they know everything. And the people are going to follow them like the Pied Piper into pits of hell. And then and the people aren't seeing it. The sorcerers did a good job. And we're battling sorcerers. But when we relate that, the sorcery, to the fact of the matter that they have had only a reflection of the truth, because the reflection of the truth is what's created by the sorcerer. And Drew Ali brought you the real thing. Here the false prophets go, right? The false teachers and all that stuff. The people who they just started learning about themselves yesterday, and they're telling you 500 for a class. They just started studying yesterday, 500 for a class, a conference or whatever. You're gonna come learn something, 500. They started talking about their Moors yesterday. What are they gonna teach you if they just started yesterday? And the people who are carrying so much stuff that one more straw break this camel's back, you're coming with 500 straws to put on the camel. It's always your own. Learn from Noble Drew Ali that it's your own. Moors wearing turbans and fezzes who's going to sell you right back into slavery. And they're not even going to care that they did it. They're not going to care that they did it. Because everybody wants to be the man. Right? Like one who holds up to the sun a mirror and casts a few of its diverted rays in a different direction. You're getting the sunlight off the mirror and you're thinking you're getting sun. These false people that are going to have their own civil nation and all that, because the nationality card doesn't say anything about Sibyls on it. So because it doesn't say anything about Sibyls on it, we're going to have our nation of Sibyls and stuff. What kind of madness are you talking about? How are you El Bay or whatever, and then you're Starting a nation? How are you starting a nation when you're a nation? Like one who holds up to the sun a mirror and casts a few of its diverted rays in a different direction, so have they done with the truth that is supposed to have come from the east. So they have done with the truth. You can't deny that. You can't say you're not riding with what he said, what he just said. Why? For what reason? What reason? Give me one good reason. I bet you don't have one. Not even asking for much. We're not even asking for much. Don't fall for the diverted rays. Because the different direction is away from what Drew Ali brought, because Drew Ali brought you the divine truth. So how are you chasing somebody who's telling you they got the truth? There are but few people who know what the truth is about man. And that few know that it is foolish to try to impart it to the ignorant. That's why we've been telling you. We're just here to get the one or two of you who your brain's still working. You're not fully gone meth head yet. You're not absolutely out to lunch. You're probably out to breakfast, and you'll be all right through lunch. We're only looking for the few of you. It's only going to be a handful saved with fingers left over. So we know it's not some mass exodus, some scriptures. Whoever wants this is going to gravitate to it. That's a fact. And it is foolish to try to impart knowledge, truth to the ignorant. It's foolish to do that. Although the ignorant has finished college, for all the TV people who finished college, he is a fool right on. All the communications major college people out there, who's a fool right on, being trained to jump through a hoop, and the hoop is the chat, and they've been trained to jump through the hoop, which is our chat. And the longer he stays in the schools, the better he can jump. Aren't they master diverters of rays? Aren't they master diverters of not answering the question? When you present the question, they don't answer it. How come they always divert to another question or statement? They're letting you know. Next thing, you can see them from a mile away. They ain't creeping up on anybody. People have given up. Because they stopped being intellectuals. The treason of intellectuals and the undoing of thought. Now we're just sticking our head out the veil, get the few of you who your wires are running properly still, and you have reason and logic, and you won't be bought. On the abandonment of Enlightenment intellectualism and the emergence of a new form of Volksgeist. When hatred of culture becomes itself a part of culture, the life of the mind loses all meaning. Alain Finkielkraut, The Undoing of Thought. Today, we are trying to spread knowledge everywhere. Who knows if in centuries to come, there will be universities for re-establishing our former ignorance. George Christophe Lichtenberg. In 1927, the French essayist Julien Benda published his famous attack on the intellectual corruption of the age, La Tradition des Clercs. I said famous, but perhaps once famous would have been more accurate. For today, in the United States anyway, only the title of the book, not its argument, enjoys much currency. It is one of those memorable phrases that bristles with hints and associations within stating anything definite. Benda tells us that he uses the term clerk in the medieval sense, i.e. to mean scribe, someone we would now call a member of intelligentsia. Academics and journalists, pundits, moralists, and pontificators of all varieties are in this sense clerks. The English translation, The Treason of the Intellectuals, sums it up neatly. The treason in question was the betrayal by the clerks of their vocation as intellectuals. From the time of pre-Socratics, intellectuals considered in the role as intellectuals had been a breed apart. In Benda's term, they were understood to be all those whose activity essentially is not the pursuit of practical aims, all those who seek their joy in the practice of an art or science or a metaphysical speculation, in short, in the possession of non-material advantages. Thanks to such men, Benda wrote, humanity did evil for 2,000 years, but honored good. This contradiction was an honor to the human species and formed a rift whereby civilization slipped into the world. According to Benda, however, this situation was changing. More and more intellectuals were abandoning their attachment to the traditional panoply or philosophy of scholarly ideas. One clear sign of the change was the attack on the Enlightenment ideal of universal humanity and the concomitant glorification of various particularisms. The attack on the universal went forward in social and political life as well in the refined precincts of epistemology and metaphysics. Those who for centuries had exhorted men, at least theoretically, to deaden the feeling of their differences, have now come to praise them, according to where the sermon is given, for their fidelity to the French soul, the immutable of their German consciousness, for the fervor of their Italian hearts. In short, intellectuals began to immerse themselves in the unsettling practical and material world of political passions, precisely those passions, Brenda observes, owning which men rise up against others, and the chief of which are racial passions, class passions, and national passions. Juali told us that it's divine first. Because once you have the foundation of the divine, thought is not going to be undone. You know when, if you ever tripped over your shoelace because the lace became undone, thought is supposed to be fluid. There's not supposed to be mental blockages. A mental block is an illusion. It's mental. If everything's mental, what put it there, you could remove it. Like Lightenberg said, we are trying to spread knowledge everywhere. There's no time for what people want to engage in. But like they're talking about, that's only within that social whatever realm, which the media is now this social realm, where people can talk crazy, but they're not really talking crazy because in your face, they wouldn't talk like that. But they still call it social. So it's about recognizing the place that these individuals play. And Juali making reference to us honoring all the prophets, making sure that we do that. Now it's interesting that it just says more right there, and al in your face. For the ones who don't know, if you're saying, oh, there's a Moors thing, I wonder if they're going to talk about Moors, and then you click the thing and you're seeing more right there in your face. That should be a sign to you. How Prophet Muhammad rose above enmity and insult. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. To delegitimize the messenger is to call into question the entire message. During his time, the Meccans called him poet, magician, and a madman, among other names. Today he's insulted with other labels. Sound familiar? But perhaps the most invidious insult, designed to undermine the powerful establishment and spread of his message, is that he overcame his foes with terror, only to rule them with cruelty. Sound familiar? Descriptions of Muhammad's life, military career, and traditions form the foundation of most judgments about his mission. Islam as a whole, through these depictions, is seen as either a religion of peace or a religion of war, depending on which interpretation of the messenger and the message is followed. Modern critiques of some of the Prophet's undertakings are meant to question the civility of Islam in the ongoing manufactured clash of civilizations that both fueled Islamophobes and extremists. Michael Bonner notes, many of these modern arguments over historiography and over the rise of Islam and the origins of jihad more generally began in the 19th and early 20th centuries among European academic specialists in the study of the East, often referred to as the Orientalists. 19th century? Specialists in the study of the East? And was there Drew Ali talking about light from the East and all that? He goes on to note that the motivation of these arguments cannot be disconnected from their involvement in the colonial project. By portraying the Prophet himself as a barbarian, surely his followers must also be treated as an inherently violent political body that will employ any means necessary to achieve global domination. Crickets? Is it crickets? Of course it's crickets. Of course it is. Because we know without a shadow of a doubt that Drew Ali telling us honor all the divine prophets. Right? Drew Ali telling us honor all the divine prophets is so that when we study them, we will see them in him. Everything that we just talked about is Muhammad, but that is directly related to everything dealing with Noble Drew Ali then and now, with people talking crazy about him. And then people know that people are talking crazy about Noble Drew Ali, but they want to debate Kudrow about something, opposed to dealing with these traitors who are talking crazy about their prophet. How are you allowing them to say anything about the prophet if you rep him so much? If honors to the prophet and Prophet Noble Drew Ali and playing that game with him, always quoting Holy Quran and all of that stuff, then how come you're not saying anything against these people who are talking against the prophet? The question of whether or not he sacrifices principles in the pursuit of that success is one that requires an in-depth look at his consistency or lack thereof in varied political contexts. Another thing that was interesting was that someone did a good job. Someone did a good job of telling you how you could tell a prophet from a political puppet, because there's a lot of that running around right now too. There's a lot of that running around right now. A lot of puppeteers, right? And we don't know who their puppet master is, but we know that they're puppeteers. We know they're puppeteers because of their antics. So if they're a puppet, then they cannot be with the prophet. And any claim that they make about Noble Drew Ali, fact check them with their activity, because all Moors are active, not passive. So if a Moor says they rep for Noble Drew Ali, tell them show you. Show me how you rep for Noble Drew Ali. Show me how. Like, what did you do that can be shown, that can be verified? Visual, audio, whatever, doesn't matter. Show something. If they can't, then let me know that they're on the puppet side. Today, there are prophetic voices on almost every issue, sometimes on both sides. There are pro-life prophets and feminist prophets. How can we judge true prophets from the false prophets? Here are 4 ways to test a prophet. 1, follow the money. No prophet in the scriptures was ever rich. What did you go out to the desert and see? Asked Jesus about John the Baptist in Luke's gospel. Someone dressed in fine garments. Those who dress luxurious and live sumptuously are found in royal palaces. A true prophet does not get rich speaking for God. A true prophet, or like the other article was talking about, scribe or seer, witch doctor, does not get rich speaking for God. Follow the money. If your prophet has the money phone, 2 money phones on both sides, more than likely that's a puppet. More than likely, that's a puppet. More than likely. And they're out here. Right, they're out here. Who are the puppet's friends? A true prophet is friends with the poor and the powerless. A false prophet keeps company with the rich and the powerful. Jesus was criticized for keeping company with tax collectors and sinners. Put no trust in the princes, says the Psalms 146. Prophets should not get in bed with politicians. Prophets should not get in bed with politicians. Well, nobody realized I was around a politician. Was he in bed with them? You find me just like some children wedding pictures. You want to see some him in bed with politicians pictures? Because you people are FBI. Because you watch everybody's movements. You got everybody on some type of audio tape, videotape, something, letter. You watch everybody. CSIS, all you people, you watch everybody. So bring some Noble Drew Ali was in bed with Oscar the Priest and these people. Do that. Let me get that. All right. For whom does the prophet speak? The job of the prophet is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. False prophets tell their congregations what they want to hear. We can see some clergy fawning over political leaders as others challenge them to protect the marginalized and serve the common good. A prophet who ignores the sins of his friends is a prophet for a party, not for God. A prophet who ignores the sins of his friends is a prophet for a party, not for God. And you read out the letters, and Noble Drew Ali did not or ignore these Moors' sins. He called them out for all the BS that they were doing. How does he speak? The words of a prophet can ring with righteous anger, but not with hate. The prophet must condemn exploitation, but have compassion for sinners. If there is no love in the prophet's voice, when he does not speak with the voice of God, a true prophet speaks only after listening and praying. When Drew Ali gave honors to Allah, we had a Moorish American prayer, and he was definitely listening to Allah with the stuff that he spoke about. He wasn't for exploitation. And he was compassionate, because even though these Moors threw his furniture on the street, they still went to the convention and all that. They still call themselves Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. The words of our prophet rings with righteous anger. Honor your foremothers and forefathers. He's giving you exactly what it is you need to hear. In order for us to find our way. But they've been playing you. We're letting you know that they've been playing you. We're letting you know they've been playing you. And all of them are intellectual treasonous. They're religious controversy starters. And they absolutely have no honor. And we give honors to all. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And we're going to be keeping them short too. There might be some pop-ups on here. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers worldwide. These Moors going nuts in the chat. He's killing him. Why? I don't know why he come here. It must be a bot. It has to be a bot. It must be a bot. There's no way. No way he's just taking this. These words. This chat is a gauntlet. You don't want to be in this chat. Rush hour. These words. What the hell? These words are funny. Hope again praying. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. These words are funny. Islam wars. Peace and love to all. Clowns up. Clowns up. Honors to all the clowns. All the circus junkies. Honors to all the mothers worldwide. And supreme acknowledgement. Supreme acknowledgement. Absolute. Supreme acknowledgement to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors. Honors, honors. Peace and love, Moors. Oh yeah, Moors, and we're temple on Sunday. So just send your email to get on the meeting list. Send your email to get on the meeting list. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Oh yeah. Forgot. Almost forgot. Almost forgot.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland Moors, Release fall, Shalon Davis, hello, check it, they say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth, trust me, they only sound the grace, any nationality before you question my estate, I'm not a minority, why you so late, majority rules, here comes the test, fact, that's my hand in the form of a V on the chest, that's a womb that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a Moor that is easy to digest. Competent, never terrenilious. That is my land, never vacant. Sacred traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland, support more. Everybody needs more. If you please more, following apostles, we should be more. I see the unseen more, we more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they want to learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling harder when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars got him cocooning as the full moon hung spiral energy moving up through the crown chakra. Energy shooting and told me upload classes before live YouTubing. 16,000 subscribers, 20% consuming, 80% troll pretending to be tuned in. Comment on every video, pushing the thumbs down. We'll push the link when we live just like a clown. Pouring in the incompetence, always debating. Dissing Drew Ali but won't give their location. His image on the black banner, that's vacation. Just get him out of here, Yusuf yells in frustration. We know they're playing games, we're not berating. Calling 911, shimatons penetrated. In defense of prophets and mothers abused. And newly awakened Moors, amused and confused.